Welcome back and prepare to be bedazzled because today we're going to be shedding light on the benefits appertaining to having recurring revenue streams. So why is it deemed to be beneficent to have recurring revenue streams? Why should you strive to build up your recurring revenue streams? Without further ado, without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Fortunately, much to your relief, much to your elation, and much to your gratification, if you have recurring revenue streams, then you can avail yourself of an unlimited earnings potential. You want to have an unfettered, uncapped earnings potential that is not tethered to your time. Your time is sacrosanct, precious, invaluable, indispensable, non-replenishable. It is deemed to be your utmost valuable commodity, so do not needlessly squander it. You should build up recurring revenue streams on autopilot. Your revenue stream should not be on manual pilot. If they are on manual pilot, it is inefficacious. You do not want to borrow equity out of your time, dignity, happiness, future wealth, and health just for a pittance of ephemeral, evanescent, fleeting fiat currency that is preordained to dissipate. You want to build up your recurring revenue streams over time. You want to be able to compound your wealth over time. You do not want your earnings potential to remain stagnant, nor capped by having it be tethered to your time. You need to divorce your revenue streams from your time. So it is incumbent to have an unlimited earnings potential, to say the least, especially since the cost of living is exorbitant and it requires substantial wealth just to be able to attain a mediocre standard of living. So, what is another benefit appertaining to having recurring revenue streams? Well, if you have recurring revenue streams as an entrepreneur, then it can allow you to be able to generate revenue past the duration of your lifetime. Do you want to be able to generate revenue in the coming centuries? Do you want to be able to provide the subsequent generations of your family with revenue past the time span of your lifetime? Well, you can by building up your recurring revenue streams that are not tethered to your time. Your recurring revenue streams can generate revenue on autopilot. You need recurring revenue streams to be able to offset your, well, let me just rephrase this insight. You need to have your recurring revenue streams as an aggregate generate enough cash inflows to offset your cash outflows, which are your recurring expenses. And you also need recurring revenue streams for other reasons. You need them so that you're able to generate revenue 24/7, and so that you can augment your standard of living by not having your earnings potential be artificially capped by an infinitesimal, measly, egregiously low minimum wage imposed by an employer. Companies want to maximize the wealth of their shareholders and executives. They also want to minimize their labor costs at all costs. Lamentably, they view their employees as expendable, exploitable, metaphorical capital livestock to be metaphorically harvested for profiteering purposes. Most companies do not give an iota about the well-being of their employees. It is quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. Their overarching goal to minimize their labor costs at all costs is not conducive to maximizing the well-being of their employees. So do not depend on an employer to furnish you with substantial wealth. It is inapt to transpire. We need to be the progenitor of your wealth and need the latent potential to do so by becoming profoundly successful as an entrepreneur. Will you attain a position as an executive? Lamentably, it is unlikely. Are those positions covetable? Are they highly desirable? Do people voraciously yearn to attain them? Well, there's very few vacancies available. And when someone attains a position as an executive, they are inapt to resign from it. So, do not depend on an employer to provide you with job security, nor job stability, nor substantial wealth if you work a real private sector job based on voluntary demand. They want to ensure that the CEO is able to gross over $165 million per year in compensation, which is close to $80,000 an hour. Almost all the profits that the company generates are entirely reserved for the shareholders and the executives, even though the laborers, the employees, are the backbone behind the company's profound, unprecedented success. So, what is another benefit appertaining to having recurring revenue streams? Well, if you have recurring revenue streams, then you can more accurately extrapolate your future earnings. Should you strive to accurately forecast your future earnings, you should. That way you have an estimate of what you can expect to receive in the pending future. So, if your target market, for instance, is amenable to perpetually paying for a service such as a subscription service from you on a periodical basis, such as a monthly basis, then you can more accurately extrapolate your future earnings than you otherwise would be able to if you did not have recurring revenue streams. And if you want peace of mind, if you want to have a minimum baseline revenue that you're inapt to precipitously plunge beneath, then it would behoove you to have recurring revenue streams. If you earn $2,000, for instance, in subscription revenue every month, then perhaps you can estimate that you'll receive anywhere from $1,800 to $2,200 in subscription revenue in the subsequent months. We need to account for potential decreases and increases. So, having recurring revenue streams can potentially allow you to generate extreme wealth if you are profoundly successful as an entrepreneur. Recurring revenue streams can be built up over time, and they can allow you to liberate your time because they allow you to have revenue streams that are detached from your time. You do not want your revenue streams to be tethered to your time. You want to divorce them from your time. You want to disassociate them from your time. You want there to be a divergence between your revenue streams and your time, and not a convergence. So, I hope that you deem this video to be insightful, enthralling, riveting, captivating, mesmerizing, engrossing. I hope that you were regaled, bedazzled, amused, fascinated, and enlightened. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.